From Software always delivers the best of the best games, and the problem doesn't lie with them. The problem lies in Bandai Namco. As of right now, they are not doing their job as the publisher to get this game to as many people as possible. So this is not something I ever thought I would be complaining about when it comes to Elden Ring. And I don't think complaining is the right word here. I think something like friendly concern would fit this situation much better. Because the thing we're about to talk about is the exact thing that we wanted so much more of 3 months ago. And I think this video is going to tie in very well to the past few videos I've made, in which we went over the overall state of the Elden Ring community. And I'm not trying to talk on behalf of the whole community, I'm just one guy and this is 100% just my opinion. I think the time has come to where we're officially getting too much marketing now. I know that sounds crazy, I know that sounds like blasphemy, especially when it comes to Elden Ring, the game we heard radio silence about for 2 years. And you don't have to agree with me, but we're going to take a look at the whole Elden Ring marketing situation and figure out the conclusion on, is it time for them to go silent again? And I think it is. I don't think anybody would argue about the opinion that we've been pretty spoiled over the past 2 months. I mean, let's just take a look at what all we've gotten. They gave us a 20-minute gameplay demo, a new tweet detailing lore from the game every Friday, a closed network test where we got to play 15 hours of the game itself, several interviews revealing new details about the game, and an entire new trailer breaking down the main story of the game. And that's only been in the past 2 months. So I think we really need to start asking ourselves, at what point does this become too much marketing? That realization happened for me when I finished watching the story trailer. I really got this feeling that this would be the perfect send-off to not give us any new information until the game comes out. And let me explain why I felt that way. When I finished watching that story trailer, I realized it did one thing very perfectly. It made us ask more questions than it answered. Now, this trailer wasn't targeted at the audience of people that are on the fence about getting the game. This trailer was targeted at us, the hardcore fans, who have been digging into the lore and leaks ever since the game was announced. Now, when the Game Awards concluded, I went and watched a bunch of live streams of people that I know for a fact do not play From Software games, and they all shared one thing in common: confusion. None of them had any idea what was going on in this trailer. And that's not a gripe at the trailer. I thought it was fantastic and perfect and did exactly what I wanted it to. And I thought it was perfectly obtuse for us, the people that have been deep into this ever since it started, because that's what we've come to expect and are accustomed to. We don't want to know what's going on. We don't want to know our purpose in this world. And that's okay, that's how it's supposed to be. But it did drive away the people that do not know these games. And that's something I saw every time I looked at another creator's live stream who doesn't play From Software games. They were very confused and they said it looked like Lord of the Rings. But you know what did communicate something to that audience? Elden Ring beating out God of War and Breath of the Wild 2 in the most anticipated game of the year. Everybody knows the renown of God of War and Breath of the Wild. So when a name like Elden Ring came up that they've probably only heard of once, and beat out 2 of the most popular games of the last decade, that sent a message. So I think the question has to become, should they move on from marketing to the target audience that already is going to buy the game, and now has more knowledge than they know what to do with, and now should they instead focus on the audience of people who don't know what Elden Ring is? And that's where I think the problem lies. I've been watching Elden Ring's marketing like a hawk for the past 2 years, and one thing I couldn't help but notice is that their advertisements are not geared towards those people. They're still trying to target us. And let me show you what I mean. Based on Google search data over the past year, the time when new searches for Elden Ring popped up the most happened right after the Summer Games Fest trailer dropped. And I think the reason for that can be brought back to one major detail, and that is gameplay. When you're trying to bring in a new audience, you have to communicate something that everybody can understand. And by far, the easiest method of doing that is showing the gameplay. Now, we do have to recognize what they have done in that aspect to get new players on board. And real quick, I want to note that I have absolutely no data on how many new people are coming to look at Elden Ring. Based on the things they've done, this is an extremely subjective viewpoint, simply from my perspective as a marketer myself. And I have a few problems with what they've done. So we obviously know that the Summer Games Fest trailer worked, at least a little bit based on the Google data. However, we can clearly see that the closed network test blew it all out of the water. However, let's compare that with the story trailer that we can see at the end there. It's not even close. And once again, that's not to harp on the story trailer being bad or anything, I freaking loved that trailer. And I thought it was a perfect homage back to the fans that have been following this since the beginning. But with pre-orders being out now, we've already bought the game. Hardcore Elden Ring fans have already given them our money. But from a business standpoint, moving forward, the idea needs to be how can we bring in more people that haven't played the From Software games and get them to buy Elden Ring over Horizon, over Dying Light, and over the Destiny 2 DLC. And once again, as much as I loved that story trailer, the Game Awards was their biggest audience of the year. And from a business standpoint, not from the standpoint as a fan, I wonder if it was a missed opportunity not to show something gameplay related there. Because we just saw today that the Game Awards had record-breaking viewership. And once again, that's not from the standpoint as a fan, I much preferred the story trailer. I'm just playing devil's advocate here as a marketer. Now, if we follow previous From Software releases, we probably won't get anything big until the launch trailer. However, we can see that they've been pumping out 2 tweets a week directed at hardcore fans, and doing interviews in magazines also directed at hardcore fans because they're highlighting the lore. And by the way, the Edge magazine does come out in 10 days, and I definitely will be doing a video on that because it's going to be highlighting King Godfrey. And as a lore geek, I freaking love it, but I've already bought the game. The non-fan doesn't care about the lore. It's going to be the gameplay that pulls them in first. And I want to also mention that one of the best things they did, even though on the website it wasn't allowed, was letting organic marketing happen through YouTube videos showing the network test. The fact that the network test was as big as it was definitely contributed to that high search strings that we saw. But we still have 2 months to go before release. And the time in the sun of the network test has passed. The marketing campaigns of Horizon and Dying Light and Destiny 2's DLC are about to begin. So, how can Elden Ring compete? As I said, I think the time for focusing on the hardcore fan and highlighting the lore is past. We've already bought the game, so now we need to focus on the people that care about the gameplay. And since there's no big game shows between now and release, the major source of drawing in new eyes is going to come through social media marketing. And I want to take a look at their current ad campaigns, of which I just spent 20 minutes searching the internet for and could only find 2 pictures. But the first ad was one I remember getting myself, was advertising the closed network test registration. And that's great and all, but it doesn't really do a whole lot for people that don't care about Elden Ring at the moment. But the next one is one I want to see more of. A small clip showcasing some gameplay from the gameplay reveal trailer. And I remember getting this ad one time on YouTube, although I don't remember a whole lot of exactly what it was. But it did show gameplay, which is good, and I want to see them do that more. Because that is how they're going to get the most people to play this game on day 1. So to wrap all this up into one nice statement, I think it's officially time for Elden Ring marketing to slow down, take their attention off the hardcore fans, and move to the people that don't know about the game. Because honestly, we're good. We've got so much knowledge about Elden Ring now, we don't even know what to do with it. And so if they keep marketing the game towards us, I think it's going to be wasted energy, and it might be so much that it takes away from our day 1 experience. But that's just my opinion on it. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one.